when you're quoting kitchens, bathrooms, what is something that can pop up that people wouldn't notice or wouldn't know to expect? What would you know to look for that other people will miss?
Great question. We started a project in Kirkland area just a couple weeks ago. We started doing demo in their bathrooms and behind the vanity cabinets and actually behind the toilet and behind the showers tubs was rot. The house had been probably untouched since the beginning of the early 70s when the house was built. It was not devastating damage, but it was definitely damage that had been there for quite some time and just ongoing water damage, water rot. Framing, the subfloors were bad, needed to be, fixed and adjusted. And when you're in the bathroom before we did the demo, you couldn't see. You didn't know that there was damage. And even if you tried to walk it or do any testing, I mean, the cabinets were blocking it. The toilet was sitting on the rot. The tub, which is a massive tub, was covering all of that up, and you wouldn't have seen it because it wasn't enough to cause it to leak down below into the basement or into the garage, but it was enough that it's like, okay, if we don't fix it, there's going to be an issue down the road. And I think that plays very importantly, whether it's a bathroom like we were just talking about or a kitchen, water damage, especially wherever there is water in those two areas. But also in laundry rooms or wherever is a huge thing that a lot of people don't realize. And that kind of goes back into when we do the only reason that numbers would adjust for us is when we uncover that issue, that damage where we need to replace, because none of us have x-ray vision. None of us would expect it, but I'm also not going to include it in our estimates with the sense of, well, everything could be damaged, so now we're going to price out. No, we'll quote after and give the client an additional cost if there is damage, just because we're not worrying about what could be rather than what is.
I was going to ask, what is the protocol for that? I've heard a lot of different things of time and materials, or do you stop, re-quote it? Does work stop right then? Do you keep going without a signed change order? What could a homeowner expect from you at that point when you open up and it's damaged?
What we always do is we call it paper trail movement. Is that we express to the client on phone, on text, or in person, hey, this is the issue. The second part is, and this goes back to the paper trail part, is we are providing them an email saying, hey, this needs to be fixed. Here's the amount that needs to be fixed. If it's a few $100, whatever it might be. The paper trail movement is the part where then they approve on email, because jobs like remodels can take months, if not more than multiple months, to do that. We are working with what may have been said 2 months, 3 months before. So paper trails is nice because then we have a set system of, okay, here's the number. They approve it on email. Now no one has to remember a he said, she said kind of conversation. But we usually stop work if it is involving that we can't proceed any further in that space until there is an approval. And for the most part, when we do sign contracts and work ahead of time with these clients, we express, again, what those change orders can be, water damage, what expectations can lead to it. And so when we do this procedure of, okay, stop work, process an approved change or a change order, have it approved, then begin work again, the clients are aware of it. So it's not like, well, why did you stop work? Or why did you send this email? It's all up front. They're aware of it, so there's no shock. But again, that goes back into that we can't do one. I don't want to do work one for free. Obviously, no one in this industry can do this for free. But at the same point is the knowledge that, again, we don't base our numbers on that what if happens, like as far as like the damage could happen. So we've not included any of this work into it. And it's, of course, extra work. So then we have to provide extra cost to that. So, I mean, we've never had a client be like, hey, this doesn't work and let's just scrap it. It's much as like we want to make sure that this is beneficial to the client, helpful for the client, and gets them back onto their schedule. And so for the most part, we haven't seen anything where it's like it's so devastating that The schedule's been pushed out a month. But, these kinds of issues usually tend to be a few days of either pause or adjustments to the schedule, that's one thing we do try to kind of fill in is each of our teams usually get a lot more time than they need to do the work because of the experience and knowledge of the past times where there's been issues that instead of trying to tighten up the schedule and make it all pinpoint is that ability of, okay, hey, you do have those extra day or two in the week and in this phase to make it beneficial and work.